Hello guys, it's Bino123 and I'm back with another r/entitled parents. Let's get straight into the video. This one's titled, Receive a Hefty Inheritance, Blown It in 6 months, EB comes crawling to his siblings begging for money. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for the great feedback on my sordid tales from my past, EB using his kids to screw me out of money. The Great Dim Sum Incident of 2013, aka TGD SI 2K13, and the Great Life Insurance Scandal, aka TGLIS. These posts aren't a means to gloat, but they're a form of therapy that is a lot more affordable than seeing a shrink. My work benefit package kinda sucks that way. It's pretty clear I have some unresolved issues. Those of you who have read TGLIS will be interested to know this incident follows shortly afterwards, probably after a year and a half later. Should also note, I am a fairly new Redditor and these stories are not always in chronological order unless stated otherwise. So, after the dust settled a bit, the god-awful task of settling the estate was next. Dad was a very hard-working man, and despite his faults, hey, we all have them, and if you believe otherwise, you're a goddamn liar. He managed to provide for a family of 6 with a roof over our heads, good food on the table, and the creature comforts that we all sometimes take for granted. When he and Mum passed, they left us 2 kids, EB and myself, with a considerable sum, with the intention to give us a comfortable head start in life. It wasn't a staggering amount by today's standards, but definitely enough for a starter home for each of us. This was well before the housing crisis came to be. I was newly married and felt the best way to handle this newfound inheritance was to invest in a modest, home free and clear, pay off all the commercial debt. Thankfully my husband and I are good that way and didn't have much consumer debt, and a vehicle to replace my little jalopy. There wasn't even enough to put a down payment on a vehicle for hubby. Despite my parents being gone, I was in a good place. All things considered, I didn't care if I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. We were both working, FT, and had a house fully paid for. EB, aka entitled brother, received the same amount. He, too, decided to invest in a new home and a new used vehicle. Very smart use of his portion, or so I thought. About 6 months later, I received a disturbing phone call from EB saying he was broke and needed money. I was incredulous. He was also looking for a new place to live. What happened to his house? Then the bomb was dropped. He admitted he had given up his house to foreclosure. Instead of buying his place outright, he instead placed a 10% down payment and decided to mortgage the rest. This tactic will only work if you don't mind losing a boat ton of money to interest, and if you intend to, make your mortgage payment. He had neither. After being notified by the bank about his sad state of affairs, he was given an incredible gift. Because EB was a new homeowner, the bank was willing to make a one-time concession, pay 2 months of outstanding mortgage payment up front, and the rest would be tacked onto the amortization period. Seriously, that poop never happens. It was a gift from some unseen entity that took pity on this piece of poop. And you know what he said? Nah, take the house. Take the house! So he was able to sell the house for a 3k profit and then decided to rent some poopy apartment where he remains to this day. I don't know where his money went and it's really none of my business, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. So, you're probably asking where the entitlement comes in. EB, I'm short on rent. Me, oh, this again? EB, this is serious. We're going to be evicted if I can't come up with the rent by the end of the week. SIL, screenshotting in the background. She owes us money. Sigh. I should backtrack a bit. When the estate was settled, I petitioned for a small portion of EB's share, about 10k, to cover the following items. Cleaning out the family home, including performing repairs to prepare the house for sale, arranging for both funeral services since EB went AWOL, My paying for both grave markers out of pocket since EB refused to pitch in for what Dad's policy couldn't cover, my paying for legal fees in relation to the execution of both wills and settling the estate. I should note that EB, in a moment of clarity, agreed to this agreement without hesitation. Even though I made it very clear that he was under no obligation, I thought that would be the end of it. SIL wouldn't have been it. She accused me of stealing from EB his rightful share, and that I had such nerve to be so selfish to demand money from them when it was totally undeserved. This coming from the same woman who paraded through my parents' home on the day of my mum's funeral, pointing out poop she wanted. I jokingly bet my husband that EB would go through his inheritance within a year, while hubby said 6 months. I still owe him a fancy steak dinner since I lost the bet. Anyway, back to the rent story. All I could do was tell EB that I simply couldn't afford to pay his rent since I had tuition to pay for, and that my husband can't stand him, but I didn't tell him that. He didn't end up getting evicted, so he either found another sucker or he had the money squirreled away and was just trying to find a way to get more money out of me. SIL will make a snippling comment now and then about how well off we are at their expense. She still claims that their financial downfall is somehow my fault as opposed to their atrocious money handling skills. The most important thing is that they never did get kicked out, but I'm still dumbfounded and appalled at how this whole shitstorm played out. I honestly wish I could say that these stories are fabricated, but sadly they are not, and even more sadly, there's more in that tiny library I call a brain. May post more later. Thanks for reading. I don't even know how much money that can be to buy a house, but damn, that inheritance wasn't much, but you can buy a house. Jesus, give me that, because I want some. But I don't get how people do that. Be heartless to your parents. You should always love your parents, and no expense should be spent on them. The fact that the brother didn't even want to pay for those kind of things, and the sister had to demand that he does it and pays about 10k is ridiculous on its own. Not to mention the sister-in-law who was just walking around disrespectfully on the mother's funeral, saying what she wants from their house. That's just some nut story about how people can be so heartless. This one's titled, EM calls me fat for not letting her son have any fries. This all started in the 7th grade when I was 13. I was at a McDonald's with a couple of my friends to have lunch after school. We all sit and waited after he finally got our food, and so we started eating and talking until the EK grabs one of my fries. I just stare at him for a bit until he goes to the EM. Excuse me young man, is it okay if we can have those fries? Me, sorry ma'am, but this is my food and your son can't have any of it. Just so you know, my friends and I have been looking forward to having lunch together for months. The EM starts getting irritated. EM, I am sick and tired of all you fat people just eating everything. Have you ever thought about going on a fucking diet? My friends start defending me. Friend, look who's talking. You built like Miley Cyrus's wrecking ball. We all start to laugh and eventually she leaves, but without saying this. Whenever you sit down, try not to make an earthquake. Well, it's the big show. People are gonna get that reference. It's a WWE reference. And I feel like I can't make jokes at slightly larger people because people get offended apparently very easily in the comments. So to this, I just say, this wrecking ball, I say quote wrecking ball, sure got wrecked. So Miley Cyrus is probably wanting that person to sit on them while she sings Wreck Me. This one's titled, Entitled Mother Decides to Help Herself to My Mum's Shopping Cart. Hey all, so this is actually my mum's story, but this is one of my favourites and I just found this sub. Back in the 90s, when I was a child, I had an insane passion for cats. Cat pillows, cat stuffed animals, cat figures, you name it. This new toy had come out called Kitty Kitty Kittens, where the stuffed cat made a purring sound when you move them around. There was commercials and I wanted one badly. The local big box store was having a huge October pre-Christmas sale on toys. So my mum and her friend decided they're going to go together to stock up for the kids. While there, my mum sees an entire row of kitty kittens and scoops up one of every colour for me to slowly pass out for the rest of the year, one per holiday. She says there was still plenty after she took one of each. She picks up a couple more toys but is now done and feeling pretty happy to have gift shopping done for the rest of the year to boot. Hours pass, her friend has 3 kids and is still frantically pacing the aisles looking for a specific toy. My mum is patiently waiting for her and leaning against her cart, looking around when suddenly she hears the telltale purring sound. She turns and finds the EM digging through the cart, several kitty kittens already in hand. My mum, "Excuse me, what are you doing? This is my cart." EM, "They're sold out now, and you have all of these. I have 4 kids and they each need one." My mum, "Well, I got here early and I put these in my cart already. Snooze you lose, put them back." EM shrieks, "You have 6, I'm still leaving you 2. My mum, "You are leaving me 6. Grabs the kitty kittens from her and puts them back in the cart. EM grabbing onto my mum's cart and yanking, "Why are you being so selfish? My kids need these for Christmas." My mum, "Because I'm planning ahead and they're on sale. Tough poop for you. Let go of my cart." After a few more screeches from EM and some cart tugging, my friend's mum rounds a corner and rushes over. EM didn't like the odds, so she scurried off, and I eventually got all my kitty kittens, although Smokey was my favourite. I find this so hilarious that I can just imagine this happening to kids, because it's like, you can just imagine it from movies, parents fighting over a trolley for the last present for Christmas for their kids. But this lady was crazy. I can understand your kid wants the toy, but someone else has it. If you're gonna try to take it, you try to take it sneakily. I don't encourage stealing, I'm just saying if they don't notice, you can run away safely. Anyways, yeah, don't steal from people, I'm only joking. This reminds me of a story of my mom. She had bananas, and then they were the last, I think, ripe ones or good ones, whatever the word is. And then some lady just snatched it out of her tongue, stuck her tongue out at my mum, and went na 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 na, and ran off. And when my mum finally got to grips of what happened, she was so mad that the bananas got stolen, and she felt so petty because there was no other good ones left. And she was like, "My ones! She took my ones!" Anyways guys, that's the end of the episode. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. For the rest of the year to boot, hours pass, her friend has 3 kids and is still frantically pacing the aisles looking for a specific toy. Her mom is patiently waiting for her friend and learning